live and local. This is Fox 7 Austin News.
We're going to get a break from stormy weather just in time for Mother's Day. The first days of May have been wet, but if you take a look at our Steiner Ranch cam outside, clouds are just hanging around. Good evening, everybody, and thanks for joining us. I'm Destiny Chance. Meteorologist Chelsea Andrews is in the Weather Center with some good news in our forecast. Chelsea.
That's right, Destiny. We saw some showers and storms roll through earlier today, but now all of that activity has passed off to the east, and we are still seeing those clouds with us, but the flash flood watch that we were under until 4 o'clock this afternoon was canceled. In fact, it was canceled a few hours early as that rain moved off. Right now, most of the activity we're seeing is a little heavier around East Texas and into Louisiana. That's a disturbance that's just kind of riding along that stalled out cold front. But closer to home, we're not going to see much in the way of rain activity tonight or into tomorrow. Monday looking mainly dry as well. Those clouds today doing a good job of keeping things on the cool side. Temperatures running about 20 degrees cooler than average for early to mid-May, with most of us in the low to mid 60s right now. Clouds hold steady for most of the evening. We'll see a bit of clearing towards sunrise tomorrow. Could lead to some patchy fog. We're down into the low to mid 50s by tomorrow morning, and then mostly sunny for Mother's Day with highs near 80 degrees. We'll keep rain out of the forecast until Monday. Then we could see a few storms rolling through. I think most of that activity holds off, though, until Monday night into Tuesday as another low pressure system moves in. The details on that coming up in just a few minutes.
In response to the downpour earlier today, the Lower Colorado River Authority has opened up several gates from dams along the Highland Lakes. Fox 7 Austin's Natalie Martinez joins us live from Mansfield Dam with the latest on floodgate operations. Natalie.
Destiny, the LCRA has opened up a second gate at Mansfield Dam today. Take a look. The water rushing in from the floodgates you see is all the water that's been collecting upstream, making its way downstream. According to the LCRA's flood operations report, this one gate opened up at Buchanan Dam. 2 gates opened up at Tom Miller. A third may open up later. 2 here at Mansfield, 1 partially opening up at Wirtz Dam, and another partially opening up at Starkey Dam. This will help alleviate some of the water flow and flooding in areas near Llano County. As Chelsea mentioned, conditions along the Lower Colorado River from Austin to Matagorda Bay are below flood stage and are expected to remain below flood stage. There's still a ban on nighttime boating, and we'll keep an eye out for any additional gates that will be opening later this week. Reporting from Mansfield Dam, Natalie Martinez, Fox 7 Austin News.
Right now, the Barton Creek Greenbelt is still closed, where park rangers say recent storms have created unsafe conditions. Fox 7 Austin's Shannon Ryan is live at a park entrance on Barton Hills Drive. Shannon.
Destiny, these are the signs and locked gates that park rangers are asking people pay attention to. But not everybody has been. We've seen people in the park all day long. In fact, right before this live shot, we watched a couple hop this fence. So a lot of people have been ignoring the signs. Other people have been using informal trailheads, so they haven't seen them. Now, the park has been closed for the past week, and park rangers say they're not sure how long that's going to last. But that hasn't kept people from hiking in the mud and swimmers from swimming in the swollen creek. I spoke with a park ranger, and she says that park goers expose themselves and the environment to myriad dangers when they ignore these signs and locked gates.
It's slippery, it's wet, causes erosion, and right now the Parks Department has deemed that it's not yet safe to go back into the parks for everybody.
Ish Comer, the woman you just heard from, says the park has faced a number of issues in the past couple of weeks, including debris, flash flooding, and even rock slides. In order to stay up to date on park closures, she recommends that you visit austintexas.gov/park closures. Destiny?
Thanks, Shannon. Meanwhile, parts of southeast Texas are still experiencing severe weather. In Houston, officials are there monitoring a leaking gas product in the water. Fox's Madeline Rivera has more.
We're waiting to see what's going to happen.
Another string of severe storms moving across southern Texas Saturday, although the region has already experienced more rainfall than it typically sees in early May.
We saw 2 to 5 inches of rainfall countywide in the overnight hours.
Heavy thunderstorms causing widespread flooding, torrential rain, and large hail. The latest in a string of heavy rainfall soaking the Houston area, causing dangerous travel conditions across much of the region. A number of vehicles and trucks were submerged in high water following days of severe showers and flooding.
The current forecast shows an additional 8-foot rise in the next 24 hours. The river's rising about 1 foot every 2 hours.
Forecasts showing at least 3 inches of rain are expected to soak Houston. Areas that are already affected by storms could see up to 5 inches of heavier showers. Flash flood watches are in effect for much of southeast Texas until Saturday evening. Emergency management officials are warning drivers to avoid flooded roadways until the flooding recedes.
Our land is so inundated with water, so be cautious because you don't know how much water coming down.
And if Houston isn't suffering enough, a toxic gasoline product is pouring out into the Houston Ship Channel after a tug pushing 2 barges collided with a 755-foot oil tanker, capsizing one barge and damaging the other one.
The barges were carrying Reformate, which is a gasoline blend stock. They had 25,000 barrels in each.
Meanwhile, flooding will continue across the lower Mississippi Valley, and officials are keeping a close eye on the already swollen Mississippi River. In Gulfport, Mississippi, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
A popular restaurant in Dripping Springs has reopened its doors today. After being hit by a devastating flood last week, Homespun Kitchen and Bar is now back in business, and customers couldn't be more thrilled. It's hard to believe that just a week this restaurant was filled with more than 4 feet of water. About 60 people were in the restaurant at the time of the flood and were able to make it out unharmed. But the same couldn't be said about everything inside the family-owned business. With helping hands from the community and generous donations from local businesses, the once gutted dining room is now filled with customers waiting to grab a bite.
Everything's kind of back to normal. The service is great. The food is great. The restaurant looks like nothing ever happened.
It just feels good to be back. I mean, it feels good to have people come in. That's what we're here for.
Jennifer Walker, one of the owners of the restaurant, says she's glad things are back to normal just in time for Mother's Day. The stepfather of a missing Houston area girl has been arrested today, according to the Gulf Coast Violent Offenders Task Force. Darian Vince is being held at the Harris County Jail, facing tampering with evidence charges. Yesterday, Malia Davis's mother said her ex-fiance was the last person to see Malia just before her disappearance. Vince was seen on video with bottles of bleach and a garbage bag in a laundry hamper. Investigators named him as the person of interest and said there was inconsistencies in his story about how Malia was taken. Volunteers, authorities, and Texas EquuSearch are still looking for the girl. Manor police need your help in finding the suspect in a shooting that happened just before noon. Police say a 17-year-old girl was found with a gunshot wound at Trevin Cove near Hamilton Point Circle. Officers say 3 suspects left in a 2-door green BMW. They believe the suspects are Hispanic, black, and white men. If you have any information about this case, call Manor Police. Coming up next, there are tensions between the U.S. and China over trade. What will happen to these Chinese-made products until a deal has been made? You're watching Fox 7 Austin News at 6. Stay with us.
You're watching Fox 7 Austin News with Destiny Chance.
The latest trade negotiations between the U.S. and China ended without a deal. Now more than $200 billion worth of Chinese exports are targeted by a new wave of tariffs. But Chinese officials say they are still willing to negotiate. Fox's David Spunt has the latest.
Things appeared to be at a stalemate yesterday afternoon, but by dinner time, Chinese state media reported that U.S. negotiators will continue talks in Beijing in the coming weeks. At 12:01 a.m. Friday